Hi listeners, thank you for joining. Today we have a nice conversation again with Nicole.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so nice, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's like every day you are outside. When you're traveling, every day you are being like outside. And when you stop traveling, you will have this different like feeling. Right now you are being indoor, and opposed to the everyday you are being like outside.
Yeah.
It's gonna have some, the comparison, the differences.
But honestly, I'm so excited not to travel, like for right now, because I've been doing Couchsurfing, where I stay at someone's place for free.
What I'm doing, what I was doing, or what I have been doing.
That's right. You save so much money.
As a women solo traveler.
That's right. Oh, do you understand? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Because when I told my American friends, they look at me and they're like, "What's wrong with you? Why would you stay with someone random and not pay?"
Yeah, exactly. From my Chinese friends or
like,
Chinese people,
yeah,
their mindset is different. You
like,
cannot
you could die, like you could get kidnapped.
What if they kidnap you, they rape you or whatever, they do something bad to you, right? Like, are you insane?
Yeah, like my friends, when I told them, they're like, I'm sorry, number one, what?
Yeah.
Number two, how? Number three, what the heck, Nicole? I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, I saved so much money, and on top of Couchsurfing, it's more cultural exchange.
Yeah,
You're
you
learning.
experience so many different amazing things from the local people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people are really so nice. Like, it's like sometimes you will really feel overwhelmed. Like, you're just random stranger. Like, at first, really, like, how can they be so nice to another
some
stranger,
random
right?
person,
Some
it's not even
random
from their
person.
country.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's so true. And actually, I remember every Couchsurfing host I had, they cooked for me. So what I want to do in exchange, I bought them a beer and I bought them a meal.
Some
so I'm like,
gift,
I'm not going to stay there for free. I need to at least give you something.
Yeah, you always, it's like reciprocal, right? You give and you take back something.
You give and you take.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like for example, I also cooked Chinese food when I was staying with the couchsurfer with the host. Yeah, I either brought some Chinese food.
She's a good cook,
cooked
by the way.
Okay, I have to try your food.
We did some cooking shows.
Really?
I mean, she cooked and we make pictures and then we ate it.
That's great. I love that.
I love cooking. I love making videos, doing those vlogging things. Yeah.
You're literally manifesting your passions in real life. That's right. Yeah, but so a lot of like Americans, like, because I made a video on my story. I'm like, hey, so a lot of my friends have asked me, Nicole, how are you able to travel? Where's all this money coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
And I said, okay, well, number one, I've always worked 2 jobs since I was 18 years old because I had to fund my own lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because my mom, who grew up in like Soviet Union, Poland, was like, mom's like, when you're 18 years old, I'm cutting you off. You're not going to get a penny from me. No money. So I said, okay.
Very strict Polish mom.
Yes, but taught me so much discipline, to this day. Yeah. And I don't blame her. I'm really happy she taught me this.
Yeah.
So basically I was like, well, I'm gonna work 2 jobs. I worked like as a bartender, making the drinks.
Yeah.
And then I just did like other jobs as well, like working at like a fast food place or like as a waitress. But like all my friends have asked me how, and I told them I stay at hostels. And when I said hostels, I stood at a 32 bedroom, like in Czech Republic, there was 32 beds.
In one room.
In one room.
Wow,
I only paid 12 euros, that's it.
Wow,
so
that's
I'm okay.
incredible.
I'm happy.
Yeah, as long as I have a room to sleep.
32 beds. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
My
okay.
God, how are you going to sleep? And all they're making sound. And...
Yeah, it was so hot.
Yeah.
It was like
no AC on.
It was 40 degrees Celsius. There was no AC. There was nothing.
Oh, wow.
And
that's
people were like, oh my God, it's so hot. Everyone's like swearing and yelling. I'm like, I'm putting my earplugs and I'm sleeping. That's it.
Wow, you're
That's
amazing.
it.
You're amazing. Wow.
You have to learn to adapt, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
So a question to couch though. I mean, that sounds now, this question, very stupid, but it is only for women?
No, it's
men.
for everyone. Not only for women. Men, women, couples. Like brothers, sisters,
or
whoever.
Gender neutral.
Yeah, of course.
I met a guy who was a couchsurfer. He was 78 years old.
Really?
And he's been traveling the last 50 years. He does couchsurfing.
You mean he doesn't?
That would be someone for the podcast.
I can get you guys.
You mean he's
Yes,
been
please.
Yes, of course.
That is someone, really. We have
been
to
traveling
interview
in
him.
the last 15 years.
Yeah,
He's been traveling a lot.
so like he's 78 and he had so much energy, and I'm like, there is no way you're 78 years old,
Yeah.
and he's 78, and he was great, and he was like talking about his stories about he went to like Africa, he went to South America, and I was like, wow, you have a lot to say.
Yeah, and I have met a host who's been hosting for maybe like 5-6 years, and he has like almost 400 couch surfers from his profiles. You can probably can check.
Incredible.
He's in that's the time when I went to Brussels. He's a Belgium, and he's been always hosting people. And sometimes he go to travel, but most of the time he's been hosting. And I was like, wow, this man, and he's living with his own cat, one cat, and. And the
It
friend,
works,
and
right?
all
It
the couch
works.
surfers, right?
By
Because
the
he's
way,
been
I have a
receiving.
couch for free, so maybe I can start to sing now.
Maybe,
That's
yeah, why
right, you
not?
can.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah,
I-
Couchsurfing is incredible.
Yeah, you met a lot of interesting people, a lot
Yes.
of interesting
She knows what it
stories.
is, yeah.
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 It's
Yeah, but
I
amazing.
mean, you heard about the Swapify where you can swap your room. So because I did a research on this whole digital nomads and traveler people, right? So I know about Swapify. I heard about Couchsurfing, but I knew that you was using it.
I use it.
too.
I have to.
And then, I mean, there's another way. While we're talking over, how you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, we got that. We got that. Anyway, it's still alive. We survived. Anyway, so
Oh, there.
transportation. So, what kind of transportation you use for your travel? So, and then
Well,
you pitch in what you experience. So first off,
Okay.
it's
please.
okay. So typically for transportation, I will not take any taxis. I will not pay the money. I will take buses. I will walk all the time. I mean, in Czech, it's super easy to walk. It's very small.
Not a big city.
Yeah, it's a very small city. Slovakia, Bratislava, super small. I decided to see how much money it would be for an Uber from, I think it was like from like the airport in Budapest to like my Airbnb, because I finally decided to take an Airbnb after all the hostels and couch surfing. I
Yeah.
needed to take a break from
Yeah,
everything.
sometimes you need a
I needed it. I
hotel or
needed it after a
Airbnb.
while. It's like, after the 32-room hostel, I'm taking a break and getting an Airbnb. So yeah, it was gonna cost 50 euros, and I decided to say no.
50
So
euros.
50, yeah, 50
For the
euros.
Uber or Airbnb?
Uber.
Oh,
Yeah,
Uber.
for an Uber. So I
50
decided
That's too much.
50. Yeah,
That's
50. So I decided
shame.
no, I'm not taking Ubers, no taxis, even though I'm walking and people were like, taxi? I said, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, está bien.
Está bien.
Está bien. So
Not a
I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way. So I just decided, like I said, I took buses to travel from one country to another country. Flixbus is incredible. I only paid 12 euros from Czech Republic. From Vienna. So from Vienna to Budapest, I paid 12 euros.
Yeah,
How many
I remember
kilometers
that.
is that? Maybe 200 or?
Oh yeah, with the currency, I don't really know.
No, I mean, how long is it from Budapest to Vienna?
Sorry. 4 or 5 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
4 to 5 hours.
Yeah. So I
it's-
was just taking buses and walking around and public transportation. That's it, really.
Do you use also the train?
Yeah, I took the metros too as well, like around the city.
No, I mean for one city to the other.
No, I actually didn't realize I could do that because I felt like it was cheaper for me to take Flixbus. But
Flixbus.
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 But once I have the EU passport in hand and I can register, it'll be cheaper. Because as an American going to using that website, it's super expensive. It's like 400 euros for
Oh,
1 month.
Oh, to get the card, right?
Yeah,
For
the
train.
Euro card, yeah.
But there's an app, because I'm using Duolingo and I get all the commercials.
Oh,
There's
nice.
an app where they have this cheapest train, cheapest. So it's I have to. Look.
Is it Rome to Rio? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, it's something with
okay.
train line or something. Anyway, so that's also interesting to say that if you're in Europe, you don't need to. I mean, even planes flights are. I mean, if you compare this, the US is a bit cheaper than Canada. Canada is freaking crazy. If you fly from I don't know, from Toronto to Ottawa, what is actually not a big distance, but it's for drive 5 hours, but you still pay 500, 600 euros.
Oh, no.
But here, I mean, I paid 120 euros for a flight from Madrid to Barcelona. I sit in business class.
120?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I paid way more money than that. Oh.
But it was maybe, I was lucky, but I got this. I said, no, why not go on business class? So I get to the lounge. I had internet in the plane, so it was nice. So sometimes you need also some. When I was traveling, because I travel a lot for business, it was a different style than your kind of traveling, but it's okay. I mean, I want to see that side too, because it's probably, you get more integrated or you see more from the country when you do it that way, right?
Yeah, that's true. You're right. And I also wanted to say, I really wish that I knew about this like earlier. But when I first came to Spain last September as a master's student, I was always flying to go from Madrid to Sevilla. Instead, I can take a bus, or a train instead. Yeah. Because I finally learned in November, after a few months, I could just go from Madrid to Granada for 20 euros instead of paying 60.
With a train?
Yeah, with a train.
Or bus?
Yeah, or bus too as well. But I didn't think that way because I'm used to flying all the time Mexico, or I'm flying in the USA.
US thing, right?
I know. Because I
didn't realize, you can go there by train, just by bus or train,
I wasted so much money. So there's things that you learn when you travel. You're like, okay, I won't do that again, and that's it. Yeah, I learned a lot from my traveling.
Yeah.
It's so funny because when I lived in Grand Rapids and I had to go first time to Chicago, I used the train and it was middle in the winter. That was an experience. Yeah. Then, anyway, but to come back to travel in Europe, so that's also something what is cheaper than, and let's say in the US and in Canada. I don't know in Mexico, so Mexico is probably a different thing, right? But what's your travel experience here in Europe?
I think the same as Nicole. We use Flixbus. That's the most Flixbus. It's from which company?
Whatever.
It's company from which country? Did you remember? Germany, right?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
You didn't heard about this before, Flixbus. It's like super common. I mean, super common.
I mean, the problem for me in a bus, but I would always prefer a train, is in the bus you can't move much. And then they make maybe, how many hours they make a stop for when the people want to go to the washroom? They have a washroom in the bus, right?
No, they don't actually.
No, they don't actually.
Yeah, but I think for countries which is very close, you can use Flixbus.
Yeah.
But like if it's like from, for example, Poland to Belgium to Netherlands, you have to use the flight, right? It's like the countries like maybe just in border with each other or like not so long, 4, 5, 6 hours is acceptable. Yeah,
that's true.
And also, speaking of the flight, I think most of the time I use Ryanair, right? Ryanair is the cheapest flight you can get in Ryanair. Yeah, I think I got like, there's one time 50 euro something from Poland to Belgium. I remember.
15?
Yeah, 50.
Oh, 15.
50.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very cheap. I forgot exactly how much I paid, but I remember that was so cheap. So like, I didn't make the plan to Belgium, but when I see why not? And I was in the holiday, in the winter holiday, sorry. So I checked the price, like where is the cheapest flight I can get. So okay, let's go. Yeah, just very spontaneous. Yeah, actually, most of my time when I made trip, it's just spontaneous trip.
Same
you didn't have like, let's plan the trip in next 2 months, in next 1 month. You just go. Yeah, it's like click, let's go.
It's true. And also it's interesting that you say that because I was planning on traveling by myself for 1 month and a half. For 1 month actually, and I had no plan at all. I'm like, cause my brother, he also solo traveled too, like when he was like 23, and he was like, these are some places you can go visit. You know, obviously go to Vienna, go to Berlin, go to Munich, go to Paris, etc., etc. But I had no plan. And then I just started looking at the map, of Europe, and I was like, okay, if I go from Germany, I can go here and here. But I planned nothing, and I used ChatGPT to make my itinerary I'm like,
that's a good.
yeah, I was like,
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
yeah. So I have like the ChatGPT app, and I didn't feel like researching because you're so tired when you're a female traveling by yourself.
Yeah.
You have to think about logistics. What am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? How long I'm gonna stay in a place for? Who I'm gonna meet? Like, that kind of thing. And you really just think about like how you're gonna be able to also budget your money when you're not working right now, right? And I have some of the savings.
Exactly.
But so I decided just to go on the app, and I decided to write ChatGPT, write me itinerary for Vienna, and they did. And I looked at it every single day, and I was like, okay, I'll go here and here and here.
Yeah, when you have multiple options, you
Yes.
can choose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't research anything. Well, I went on Google and I'm like typed in most, famous places to visit, but I use ChatGPT for everything. I'm going to Portugal
You can
next
plan the
week.
routes for you from
Next
this
week.
location. Make it shorter, easier for you. Next week, you're going to Portugal.
I'm meeting my friend from Toronto. She's traveling from Toronto to Lisbon.
Oh, Lisbon.
I've never been to Lisbon or Porto, so I'm going to meet her there. We're going for
Lisbon. Oh, wow.
we're going for 1 week, but she planned everything.
Don't tell us it's chess.
Huh?
Don't tell us it's chess, because we met Chess, someone from Toronto, who is also a solo female traveler.
Oh no, her name is Charmaine, but it's close.
So, okay,
It's sound,
so that's also interesting, because in the last couple of months, I met so many
Travelers.
solo women travelers, right? And so it's interesting. Well, what I want to say is, so that's about the traveling. So, or the chat GPT, because that's the next revolution, right? If you're actually good, and I have a background of artificial intelligence because I worked on some projects. So the point is, what is it actually? You're putting only a different way. Let's call it a prompt, right?
Yeah.
And the prompt says, okay, I want to have an itinerary for travel in Vienna. Show me all this. But it's actually connecting based on this prompt to get the information. Well, all what it does, it's just searching the internet, but it's the front end to the internet, right? And it's more sophisticated than Google search, right?
It's also more organized too as well, because it says like day 1, like you can do this, or like, day 2, you can go to like the Schönberg Castle or something, or, that kind of thing. So I think it's just a way to like really plan it like accordingly and strategically. Because if I did it on my own, I can, but it's going to take more time, and I'm already so tired traveling. Because again, with the logistics, where I'm going to go, I have this much time, so that's why. But ChatGPT is a game changer for the whole entire world.
So now I have to ask you how you came into this. So you heard about it because everyone heard about this, right?
Oh yeah.
So how you said, I came to the point that let's try it for my purpose. How that came to it?
I have friends who are at university, like they're younger than me. They use it for their papers. Which is plagiarism, 100%. Like they basically, they're like, write me, like a novel, whatever.
Yes.
And of course they don't use the word, like they don't use like the actual word to word. But I think
that's the trick, because
that's right.
You get something raw, but this is like I worked as a consultant, right? So we had to write some reports or something, our findings, whatever, right?
That's right.
So you got some templates, but then you never use this because there's always something different for each client. So we are used to this already to get some example and then make it fit for that scenario. But this is the same thing with ChatGPT, right? You go and say, write me a report of an assessment for whatever, and then they give you a template. That's actually what it is. And then you fine tune it to your situation. But today I learned something, because I'm in music, that now people using to write lyrics for this.
Really?
Yeah, that's it.
That's right. Yeah.
So
right.
it's not. Today I saw a video where someone said, I know how to use this music software like Ableton. By the way, they're from Berlin. So then you can put all this, let's say, write a bachata song. You put the rhythm of the guitar for bachata, the drums of bachata, and some other instruments, put it together. And then you say, you go to ChatGPT and write me a whatever sentimental song about love in Spanish.
It's incredible, like a love song.
I mean, I don't know if they can do it in Spanish, but I think they can.
Canción de amor, yeah.
Or they do it in English, and then and then you translate it with the translation software in Spanish. So you get this, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking before I actually came here about this. So where is this all going? Because that is now a new revolution. It's like It's like Web 3.0. I mean, that's what it is. Because I mean, artificial intelligence gives now powerful tools in your hand, and there's also people that are really scared about this.
Yeah, I mean, even I have a friends who are like trying to become entrepreneurs, and I heard that you can even like write like a business development plan, like how to become an entrepreneur, how can I create my business, how can I find my niche. I think, like I said, ChatGPT is going to be a huge revolutionary, and it already is. Like it's becoming a.
But the point is, this was already all available before this actually came out, right?
Right.
I mean, you could Google it and said, I want a business plan to show to a bank for my certain business.
Right.
Maybe you needed more time to go to all the results because Google search or other search engine would give it now not in that way what ChatGPT, and that is the revolution. Because first of all, you need the right prompt, because without the prompt you won't get the right result, and then it gives you not a link, it gives you actually a template or a text, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And I used it for give me a marketing strategy for Traveland. That's what I used it recently. And then I came up and these are the strategy points, right?
Interesting. Okay.
So, and this is also used in digital marketing. It's also used in coding. I know someone from Barcelona, he started to code Python, and he wanted to have the code for a certain problem, and they give it to him. See,
it's incredible. Everything's like at your fingertips. I can't.
And I mean, even a recipe, right? I mean, looking for a recipe of what was this cake? Carrot cake?
Yeah.
So give me the carrot cake recipe, right?
That's true.
But then again,
it's just all about big data. They collect all the data from the world and they integrate something like that you want, right?
Exactly.
It's all about big data.
It's true. Yeah.
Again, I mean, that's the next revolution.
That's
I mean, this is all about clickbait. You heard about that, right?
Clickbait is like, no, I'm not really sure what that is.
I mean, that's all about digital marketing is about. If you have a website, that's what you want, clicks and conversion to clients, right? But it starts with clicks. How many clicks, how many plays, how many likes, right? If you put a video out, then the number how to measure is how many plays, right?
And how comments,
and the impression, who you reached out. You reached out in your own net, in your own followers. You reached other followers because you put the right hashtags.
I understand what you're saying. This actually makes a lot of sense because when I was working as a university advisor, I was also trying to like recruit people, right, to go to universities. So it's also like a lot of like sales, like what is it, like quota too as well. Like the amount of clients I'm able to bring in, aka equals more money for me, but more revenue as well with the universities.
Yes.
That's it. Wow, it's all about money.
Business. Yeah.
Business revolves around money. That's right. Yeah, exactly. More people, more money.
Yeah.
Okay, but we went totally away from your travel plan, so maybe you can wrap it up.
It requires money too as well to travel.
Maybe you can wrap it up your travel, because I thought that we was last in Budapest. So next stop, please.
After Budapest, I went to Paris. I just came back from Paris, France yesterday. It was beautiful. I don't really feel like it's the most beautiful place I've been to. I prefer Budapest over Paris.
Wow, what a comparison.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's maybe like the weather is very gloomy. It was raining most of the time I was there, which meant no tourism.
Play a very important role in your trip, in your traveling.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I've traveled and I had no bad weather. Only Paris was the one with the bad weather.
So it's not meant to be.
Maybe. Yeah, but I feel like if I spent more time in Paris, France, I would have been able to see more. I think I definitely want to go to like Lyon, Toulouse, Nice. My uncle lives in Nice.
I think the south
Yeah,
part
I've never
of the
been.
France is really beautiful.
Nice, a nice place.
Yeah.
It's on the coast, right? On
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Coastal city, you will
I-
have
like I
beach,
said,
you have good weather.
Yeah. It was my first time going to France. I never been to France.
Yeah.
And my
No.
mom is like, you need to go, like,
No.
most beautiful place in the world. I was like, for you, mama, but not for me.
Yeah.
For me, I think most beautiful place I've been to is Israel and definitely Budapest. And
Israel.
yeah.
But
I
you
love
will see
Israel.
more places. Maybe
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna change. You went to Paris?
No, not yet. Not yet. Next
Destination.
destination.
Yeah.
I was there
Yeah.
multiple times, but but I was also in the Camargue. Camargue is an area in the south of where the white horses, the white horses.
Really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's so I went there in Montélimar. Yeah, so that's my friend Strasbourg.
Ah, so my mom was in Strasbourg too as well. Yeah, Strasbourg.
Yeah, there's another cathedral. Yeah, so that's my France experience.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, so I think I asked you 1 hour ago about what. Now you mentioned you're gonna go to Portugal next week. So your traveling is continued.
Yeah, but after that, I'm going back to Chicago to visit. But I'm not going to be traveling after Portugal.
So Portugal, then Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'll be going to Lisboa, Porto, and Sintra.
Oh wow!
And my friend, I actually never met her. We met each other through LinkedIn, but we both have been living overseas as English teachers. Her family's from Hong Kong, but she speaks Cantonese, Mandarin, English, and French.
Okay.
So she speaks many languages too. Yeah, so
French
we're gonna.
because she's in Canada.
Yeah, she's in Toronto. Yeah, that's why she's
Toronto,
based in
you
Toronto.
don't need to speak much French, but if you go in school in Toronto, you're gonna learn it.
Yeah.
Because you can actually choose your school. If you go to a French school, you start with French. You go to English school, you start with English.
Interesting.
But then you learn the other one, right? Because Canada is officially English and French.
That's
and
right.
And the street names in Ottawa, only in Ottawa, is actually in both languages.
Wow, I had no idea. I met someone in my hostel from Ottawa, and he told me about it. Like, he speaks French, but not as fluently. But he told me you had to learn English and French at the school.
If you work for the government, you have to actually, I mean, if you become higher in the ranks, you have to have both languages.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's what she told me.
Even the Prime Minister speaks 2 languages, Mr. Trudeau.
Mr.
Trudeau.
Trudeau, that's
It actually
right.
even comes from Quebec, right?
Wow, interesting. Yeah.
I spent my time there. I worked in Montreal, I worked in Calgary, Regina, Calgary. I was in Edmonton. I was on the East Coast, Halifax, just for travel. Where I went also. Yeah, there's another part, New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Where they actually speaks also a little bit French, because if they come closer to Quebec, they speak also French. So I visit that. Yeah. So I went all over the places. So
Been to lots of places, lived in so many places.
yeah, but now the story is like since 6 months I never left Madrid. But I have to go also to the US and before maybe to Canada end of September.
Oh, okay, I understand. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay, so you have something to say before we wrap up? We got a monster session here.
If we don't wrap up right now, I don't know what time we're gonna wrap up. I think it's perfect time to wrap up.
Okay,
everything.
so thank you,
A lot of
ladies.
talkings.
Thank you for
Yeah.
a
Sure,
wonderful
pleasure,
session.
pleasure.
And